leadership, but not before management. In the past several decades, we've seen a fad, a movement towards people wanting to become leaders rather than managers. It seems that every manager wants to become a leader before they've completed their apprenticeship as a manager. I say that because it scares me when I see business owners who want to learn to become better leaders when their business is in total chaos, blaming their team members for the chaos rather than taking ownership of the problem, which lies squarely in their camp. This has become such a lure for people because of a neurological pattern that we are familiar with in the behavior intelligence world, and that is our brain is essentially fairly lazy. We will look for the easiest path. And what's easier than calling yourself a leader so you don't have to do managing? You don't have to deal with the stigma that's happening at the moment around people's resistance to being micromanaged. It's a dirty word, micromanaging. Well, the reality is it's one of the most important things that someone could do in their business or as a manager, a leader in the organization. Because before someone can be led, first they must be able to perform to the level of expectations that are set by the organization, the culture, the team, the expectations, financials. There's a whole realm of things which do not transfer from one company to another. Why? Because every company, no matter the product, take two companies, give me any two companies that sell exactly the same product and show me that they are identical in culture, in systems, in processes, in management style. It just can't happen. It's impossible. Every company is unique. Every business is unique. And therefore, the management needs to bring people into the organization, teaching them the expectation, teaching them the culture, teaching them how we do things here, because even though someone is a professional in another organization and they have all these skills, those skills are just the tasks. To be able to fit into the organization is to fit within the culture, to fit within the systems and processes and tools, and to not only meet expectations, but we have an expectation that people will exceed those expectations. Not only exceed them, but we'd like them to stay when they are performing at that level. So the responsibility of management is to help people progress through those stages so that you can, at that point, step back and provide leadership. In essence, leadership is defined as guiding people or anything in that, whether it's sports or a workplace. It's about guiding them because they know what to do and they exceed and meet your expectations. For someone to just meet expectations, they need to know what those expectations are. We often get to performance reviews where the expectations were not clear. So we have these vague descriptive words that are in the performance review which cannot be correlated to specific behaviors that are expected. And this creates a disconnect with management and team members. So to solve the problem, one of the key factors is we want to get people to a comfort level, and in order for them to exceed expectations. Why I say that is this comfort level is where their style, their finesse will start to show. When someone is new in an organization, they're still uncomfortable, they're unsure, they're working things out. by stepping into the management role, we teach them, we guide them, we help them to get to that comfort level so that they can exceed expectations. The finesse and the style won't show up while someone is still in the early stages of navigating the politics, the relationships within the organization. I'll give you a quick example. A business owner hires a new salesperson. This person gets direction from upper management about the big picture, the direction of the company, and they're left to their own accord because, as we say, we've hired a professional, they should know what to do, I shouldn't have to tell them what to do. Even worse, with today's information world, we get into a situation where we start to get so busy ourselves, we don't want to take the time to micromanage, teach, guide, mentor, all of the things that are pertinent to someone being successful in the new organization despite their skills and expertise. Because at the end of the day, people can't read our minds. They can't read your mind, they can't read their management mind. All they can do is go by what is shown, what is proven to have worked in the past. Again, this is a neurological pattern. We do what has served us well in the past. If this works and I get good feedback, then I'll keep doing it. If it doesn't work, I get negative feedback, I'll probably stop doing that. So to wrap it up, in order to reach leadership, we must first know what it takes to be a manager, to understand how to work with people, to understand the different behavior patterns. If you like, every task, every role in every organization has triggers and stimuli, and this stimulus triggers their unconscious behavioral responses. What we want to do is train them and speak to them, communicate with them in a language that goes directly past the conscious mind into the unconscious mind. And that means understanding the different behavior patterns, the different triggers, the different responses of the variety of different people. Not everybody is the same. Every single person, in fact, on the planet is unique. And the uniqueness varies so much. There's so many variables. We discovered in our behavior intelligence programs, we only look at 49 different patterns. But that tells us there's already 1 trillion combinations of behaviors that we don't need to learn all of them. We don't need to work with all of them, but we need to be able to understand enough about them so that we can speak the language that is pertinent to those people. So do take the time to understand the stages of leadership. It starts with employee becomes manager learns the key elements that business requires to succeed: financials, key performance indicators, culture, attitude, all of these things that are really need to be understood through a management lens before we can step back and lead people, because we've put all these things in place. We've taught them, we've managed those things to a level that people are doing them unconsciously. They're unconscious competent. And at that point, you are now able to lead and guide. And, frankly, the reason it's so exciting to be a leader is everybody's rowing in the same direction. Everybody is pulling together, and they don't have to be dragged. Like, in management, sometimes you feel like you're dragging and pulling and shoving and taking people in lots of different directions just to get them in some kind of harmony. Whereas in leadership, you've already established all of that. And now the company, your organization, your team can flourish, whether it's sports or work related, it doesn't really matter. leading a team is very exciting when everyone is pulling together, and it can only happen when expectations are clear and behavior is understood. So we are talking to their unconscious mind. You know, we are working with their natural triggers and stimuli. Thanks for listening. I look forward to seeing you on one of our webinars or seminars, and to share with you some more in-depth information about all the behaviors and triggers that we work with.